The another feature was the spread of Bhakti Moment. Now, what was the Bhakti Moment? Here, Bhakti and Sufi movement is given. As you have read in 6th class, in our ancient time, that how the people discarded the religion which was prevalent or the rituals which was prevalent during that time. So in the medieval period also, the rituals and the customs were so complex. Already the Shudras were deprived from the uh, religious practices. They were not allowed to go to temple. And here the people now getting educated also. So people started to question against this, and they actually find out the correct way to reach the God. And in that concern, the new movement which was called as Bhakti and Sufi movement. Bhakti movement was started in the India first, in the northern and the south India, and the Sufi movement was arrived when the Muslim rule was started. So both of the movement given an emphasis on the principle that there is only one God and different religions are having the different path to go to the same God or to reach the same God. So we should respect all the religion. As well, they also believe that God is almighty and all the men and the women are the children of God. And human beings should be treated equally and they should love with each other. They discarded or they opposed the rituals which were not necessary and which were actually prescribed by the purohits to do this puja or that puja. So they deny to accept these rituals. As well, they promoted the music for to reach the God. They found and they believe that music is one of the best way to reach the God through the bhajans, then singing the hymns. Through this, they can reach to the God. So this was a Bhakti and Sufi movement. Sufi movement was also believed in the same way. Both were given a emphasis in the same manner. Somewhere they have the same principle. Now the next topic is establishment of Mughal Empire. So after the Sultan period, as we'll see through the picture, you can see here the Sultan period was started and first this that and they found that it was developed in the different ranks and how they establish, how they increase their rule. You will find that the Tughlaq dynasty was the richest dynasty under which the most of the territory of India was there. After that, Delhi Sultanate was come under the Ibrahim Lodi. Ibrahim Lodi was actually the last ruler of Delhi Sultanate. And you can see that how the big empire get shrink into the small one. So the Delhi Sultanate was remain shrink till this area, only in the northern region, which was previously developed in south, east as well as the west and north. So what was the reason? At that time, the Mughal were king, Babur, who came from the Central Asia, he came and invaded the India with the help of the Indian ruler, as well one of the governor of the Lodi dynasty. So in this way the Mughal was rose and they established the Mughal Empire. Mughal Empire was stretched from long period. They have ruled for a long period in India. The another feature is rise of Maratha and Sikh. Maratha Empire was developed during the reign of Aurangzeb, and Sikh was also around the same period. Actually, the Mughal period was a very long period, and many of the rulers were there. After Jahangir, many of the other rulers were also came, and the later Mughals were actually not favorable for the people. Their policies were not good for the people, not in a favor of the people, and that's why to protect people to their people, they rose as a rebellion. And in this way, we can say to protect the homeland, the new sect or the new kingdoms were rose. One of that was Maratha also, and Sikh was also one of that. So Maratha Empire was developed under the leadership of Shivaji. Here you can see the pictures of Sufi and Bhakti Moment. People are dancing and singing. Here you can see. People used to move in a group by singing the hymns and bhajans. And in this way they join by the many of the other people also. Here one of the Sufi saint is there who preaches his disciple. This is also one of the scene of Bhakti Moment. Here the Krishna with Radha and he is doing the Ras Leela. This is the rise of Sikhism. Sikhism was rise under the saint. The leader was Guru Nanak. Guru Nanak has origin the Sikhism. Here you can see Shivaji. He established a Maratha Empire, Maratha Kingdom in India. The another feature is increasing in trade and economic of India. Now this was a time when many new routes were found, many new trades and commerce opportunities were there. As the different rulers came, their policies were different. And as the king came into power, they constructed the massive monuments and buildings and all. And in that concern, the new towns and cities were also developed. So here, the increasing in trade and economy of India was increased because of trade and commerce. The new opportunities of trade and new opportunities of business were rose at that time. The another feature is arrival of the European companies. During the period of Jahangir, the European traders came from the Britain, as well as in 14th century, around mid of the 15th century, Vasco da Gama has reached to the west coast of the India, and he actually discovered the new sea route from east to west, and because of that they found the new opportunities for the trade and commerce from east to South Asia, that is in India. So the lure of the spices and the other commodities brought the European traders to the India for the trade purpose. So many of the companies, now what is the European company means? European companies means the country which are there in the Europe. Their king used to sponsor some of the company, some of the people who invested in one of the company, and because they're belonging to their own country, so their name was given with that, like British East India Company. So British, because they are belonging to British. East India, because they are coming to the east part of the India, and they coming from east and coming to the east in India. So East India Company, that was actually sponsored by their own country. Companies were actually the enterprises in which the big and small businessmen used to invest and make one company. Now the next feature is the emergence of new cities and towns. So as we have discussed right now, that the different European companies came to India, they also brought the new opportunities of the business and trade. And in this way, first they started their goods to sell into the Indian market, and later they started to establish here their own companies. And in this way, many of the new settlements were formed, and this led to the emergence of the new cities and towns. The last feature is the evolution of the composite Indian culture. It means, composite means here mixed culture. So as we have read before, that how the Turks came, then Delhi Sultanate was established, then Mughals came, then they established the Mughal Empire. Then the Britishers as well as the other European countries came, like Portuguese came, Dutch people came, French came. Whenever they came, they used to brought their culture with them. Some of the people were settled here, and some of the people of India, they have adopted these religion and their customs. So they will remain in the India, and they have left their culture here. So that's why we have the diverse range of the religion in our India. This is actually called the evolution of the composite Indian culture. Means Indian culture is a mixed culture. So I hope this topic you understood the features of the medieval period in India. Now in coming chapter we will discuss about the last topic, that is the sources of history.